Hey friends, welcome back to Watavue Mountain. You guessed it, we're not at the mountain today. We are in suburbia. As the title described, we are building a trough for our birds and squirrels and deer and whatever else decides to come and eat at it. Went online, found a bunch of different plans. Some are much easier than this plan. This is pretty inexpensive though, the way we're going to do this one. I'm still going to tweak a little bit. I think it was myoutdoorplans.com is where I went to, and they had some free plans there. So we're going to give it a whirl. So we got a nice little spot right back here behind the house where I've been using a corn feeder. But I decided this year I want to start feeding them something a little more substantive with some protein and some minerals and some other things. So that's why we're building a trough. So thanks for coming. Thanks for checking us out. Hopefully you get something out of this video. We really appreciate you being here. Now, enough of me jabbering. Let's get to busy. All right, so today, this is really about a one-day project, I think, but it's already like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I don't have enough time today to finish this up. So we're working off the back of the truck, old Blue Jean here, and we're going to cut down some boards. So most of it I'm just going to cut. I'm not going to explain it, but I will explain this first one. We're going to do 4x4s, and let me get it right so I don't tell you the wrong numbers. I'm going to cut these 4x4s 57 inches long. And it'll make sense later, but for this trough, I'm going to put it into the ground, I don't know, a foot or 2 feet, we'll see, because once we get down there, you'll see it's not super level down where we're going to put this. So I want to leave myself enough space so I can put it in the ground, make sure it's secure, and then have about 35 inches to the top of the feeder. So everything that I read says that's about the ideal, 35, 36, somewhere in there. High enough that hogs can't get in it. Not that we have hogs here yet, but a couple miles down the road they do. I'm sure they're not far from being here in our little slice of paradise. So that will be the plan, is to get those about 35 inches off the ground and level. I will include the cut sheet for all of this material in the description below, as well as the order sheet. Unfortunately for you, if you want to see how to build it, you got to watch the video, because I can't plagiarize all of their material. I can, however, plagiarize their cut sheet and their order sheet. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut down these 4x4s to 57 inches long. So let's get after it. Remember, eye pro, ear pro, all the time. I did forget to mention, for this, all I'm using is a speed square, a tape measure, a pencil, and the trusty old circular saw. So now I'll quit jabbering and we'll get to busy. And I'm going to listen to some music. Okay, so you can see we got everything cut. Now we're down in the woods. I was going to try to assemble it up there in the driveway, but I think it'd just be too cumbersome to move. So we got our 4x4s. These are our 22.5-inch pieces, and this is going to go on the inside of our trough, which will make sense in a minute. So just try to get this as squared up as you can with the top and with the edge, just so your trough looks nice and sits nice. And then we're going to go ahead and use, these are 2.5 inch exterior wood screws. So we're going to use these, and I'm going to, I don't know, put 3 or 4 of them in there. And then same thing on this side. And you can use your speed square if you want to get real particular and try to, you know, make sure it's all married up, but I think we're pretty close right there. And then I'll just repeat the same thing on this, and then I'll show you how we're going to put the long sides on. So because I'm by myself, you see I got the first bottom of the base leaned up against this tree. This is at 22.5. Here's that, whatever this was, 57. So you see now that's how the inside of this is going to be our trough. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to line that up, and I'm going to pre-drill a couple screws just so once I get it lined up I can just go ahead and hammer it in there. And then, like I said, I'll just level this up as best I can right here. Get it squared up, flushed up. There, it looks pretty good. And then I'll do the same on the other side. Let me see if I can turn you. Break the camera. Yeah, you can see that. And then I'm just going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. And I'll show you what it looks like after that. You can see it's pretty tall. I mean, I'm 6'1", and this is what, 50 something inches, right? So you don't have to do it this way. You could just cut these 4x4s to 36 inches if you want to. But I definitely, again, this ground is sloped. You can see this back part's a little bit lower. So I just want to get it leveled out, and then clearly I need to get this down. I might come back and cut these down to like 40 inches, but I'm going to see how hard it is to dig this ground, and then that'll determine if I'm going to cut these down or keep digging. But I have it about where I want it, so I'm just going to start digging holes. All right, holes are dug. Now I'm just going to lift this into place and check a couple measurements to make sure we're about 36 inches on that side. This side's probably going to be a little higher, but that's okay. And then try to level it up. But again, I don't know if you can appreciate it, but this this ground slopes left to right and front to back. So we might just be going with good enough here. Let's see, pretty level there, not level there, but let's see how high we are. Wow, right at 36 inches right there. Let's see, from the top, we're about 35 inches. 38 inches there, 40 inches, so it'd have to be something really tall to eat out of this side. So what you think? I know, like you're gonna answer me, right? Level, not level. So I gotta dig this hole. I'm probably gonna dig just these two out a little bit more so we get level this way, and then that'll bring this down so it's not quite as high. Because like I said, I mean, I guess the big deer will be able to eat out of that, but you get my point. So 36 inches here and here, but try to get it maybe just a titch lower so that the newborns can go ahead and eat out of it too. So lift this back out of its hole. What was that? Maybe one at a time. It's this beeping. All right, let me dig some more holes. So I dug all those out. Actually, I dug these two out a little bit too because we were a little too high on this side. We were like 40 inches, which I think is just too high. So now I got this down to 38 there, 33 there. This side's a little higher, 34 and 32 there. So everybody should be good to come and eat at the trough. I think the bigger deer will be able to eat at this end, and smaller deer can go up on that side. We're pretty level right here, up and down the hill, and our left and right's pretty level too. So I'm just gonna scratch this dirt in there. Now I could have put rocks in the bottom. I probably should have put rocks in the bottom, just to keep this from rotting out too quick, but these are ground rated, pressure treated, all the things, so we should be okay. All right, that'll do. Now let's see what's next. All right, now we're gonna put these cleats in, and they're gonna go right here along the bottom. And that's what our plywood's gonna sit on. So same kind of deal. I'm using the 2.5 inch screws. Now of course, I'm probably gonna regret this, but it says you should drill some pilot holes first, but if you run it backwards supposedly, and then drill it in, it'll keep it from splitting. It's a good theory. All right, then this is just going to go in flush with the bottom of this 2x6. And I think I forgot to tell you, I'll put it in the thing. I cut these down to 46 and a half. I think I initially did 47 inches, and it was just a hair too long. I guess my wood's fatter than they expected. Okay, let's see if our plywood fits in there now. So same thing, it's a 1/2 inch too long ish. Maybe I might be able to squeeze that in there. Nope. So I'm just going to shave a 1/4, maybe 1/2 inch off of this. There you go. Now we're good. Well, sawdust might be a little extra fiber for the deer, huh? And then for this, we're going to use 1 1/4 inch screws. Just a couple, just to help tack it in place. But if anything is going to rot, I'd say it's probably going to be this, the soonest. So I'm just going to put about 4 screws in, 1 on each corner. These bits are driving me crazy today. Get magnetized bits. There we go. All right, we'll start on the roof next. So I have these 2 5-foot 2x4s, pressure treated. I went ahead and put just 5 screws in the end of this one. And then I'm going to come to about the center between these two. I think it's about 8 inches, no, 15 and a half. So 7 3/4 is about the center. Of course, I forgot a pencil, but it's just a rough mark, just so I kind of sort of know where I'm going here. And then I brought some clamps. So I'm just going to line that up with the bottom of that 6x6. Oh my goodness. Just to help hold it there, so I can make sure that it's level. There we go. There you go. So I got five 5 screws in there, those 2.5-inch screws. Like I said, we're good and level. You probably can't see that bubble from there, but we're level. Now I'll go ahead and do the other side, and then I'll show you how I'm going to do this roof. I might need to grab a ladder too, because it's much taller than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so I found the center point now of this 5-foot board, and I'm just going to drill one. I put 3 screws in it, but I'm just going to drill one in for now, because I'm going to frame this up while it's up, if that makes sense. Hopefully it will here in just a minute. So there's just one, and so now I can pivot that so that I can work on that other end. So didn't even need the clamps. Let me throw the other one up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So there you see, I can tilt it down, and now I can work on this side and the other side. But for what, you might ask? Great question. I'm going to use, now here's where I would differ from what I'm doing. Like I said, I was following somebody else's plan, but now that I'm doing it, I don't really like it. I would just do probably 3 more 2x4s, pressure treated 2x4s. One to go here on this end, one to go on that end, and then one to go right in the center. But since I have these 1x6s, we're just going to go with what we got. And these are 6-foot 1x6s. So I'm just going to try to eyeball it about, well, why eyeball it? I got a tape measure. Right, so these are from center to center is 52 3/4. So 52 3/4. What do I have all together here? 6 feet. So 72 minus, so I got to come in 10 inches. I'm going to come in 10 inches from this end. $52. Okay, and then that's where I'm going to put my screw, just to start it. There's one there, and then 52 3/4. I don't know if these 1 1/4 are going to be long enough, but we'll find out, won't we? And then I'm going to leave this down about the width of the 1x6. Nope. 1 1/4 are too short. So don't use 1 1/4 here. Will not work. Back to the 2.5 inches. about there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. And then I'm going to place one 2x6 across the center. So this is why I left it down. Right, I'm just going to put that right there. Holy free holies. All right, well, I mean, you see I'm 6 feet tall, so that's probably, I don't know, 7 foot right there. Give the deer plenty of space to walk underneath it. And again, I wouldn't do these 1x6s. When I put it in the instructions, I'll say 1x6s or 2x4s, and you'll know what I'm talking about, what for. But these 1x6s were originally supposed to be the roof. But we have some extra tin that didn't get burned up in the fire, so we're going to use that. So I kind of like this height. I'll give you an exact height to here. So 78 inches, 6.5 feet to there. We got 82 feet, so, I mean 82 feet, 82 inches. So 6 feet 10 inches to there. So I think that's plenty of space, or like I said, that side should be even higher. But the key is, if you want your biggins to show up, you got to give them space, because the buck, once they start growing their horns, yep, we got 80 inches there, so almost 7 feet. And then over 7 feet there. So plenty of space for the big buck to get their head underneath here so that they can eat at the trough and not bang their antlers. So let me screw these end ones in, since I like that angle pretty much. And now these sheets of tin, let me see, I think these are 8 feet long and a little over 3 feet wide. So instead of cutting them and putting them this way, which would probably make sense, but none of this probably is making any sense to anybody except for me, we're going to put them this way. Just because they'll cover more surface area. Right, so I know we have just over 5 feet this way. These are a little over 3 feet wide. So we'll have a little bit of overhang, about 6 feet of coverage outside this way and 8 feet this way. So I might have to come back and put some supports on these later. But let me even just see if I can get them up there. I don't even know if I can get them on there. And I'm going to place them both just so I can kind of see how they fit, and then figure out which way I'm going to go, left or right, or if I need more. There you go, a little overlap. Let's see where we're going. We've got about 7 inches of overhang there. 6.5. I think we're gonna call that good. And then if I was thinking, I would have got the proper screws. All those burned up in the fire that we had, so I should have bought some more. I didn't check the ends though, did I? 19.5 and 20.5. So $19 to center. Good night. Let's do 20 to center. $20 to center. Okay. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but and so now I'm going to go on top and I'm going to screw the metal into the 2x4s and this 1x3 or 1x6, whatever that is. There you go, friends. Pretty simple. I think maybe I spent about 3 hours today doing this, 2 hours. It would have gone much quicker, one, if I had help, and two, if I was on level ground. But she's not going anywhere. Now, you might be concerned about that roof. If you're somewhere that's really windy, and I might come back and do this. I might put some bracing supports on the side just to give it a little more stability. But I mean, it's pretty good. I'll kind of see how it does. And but the base is 100% not going anywhere. Now, of course, if you want to move this, there are a bunch of great plans out there where you just put it on skids and you can move it. But I knew I need something like this just because of the unevenness of the terrain. And I don't plan on moving this anywhere because this is about the extent of our property right here. That right there is about 100 pounds of corn and feed mixed. So just to give you an idea, if you want something that holds more, maybe use 2x8s on the side or 2x10s and make it real deep. But we'll see. Hopefully, well, I doubt it. I'll get this video edited pretty quick and get it out. But we'll see how long it lasts. I've only ever used gravity feeders, corn slinging feeders in the past. And usually that 250 pounds will last about a month. But mine fell over and broke. So I decided I was just gonna build one of these because I want to feed them some protein as well as that corn. They just like the corn better. And then as I get more used to that protein that I'm putting in there, then I'll probably just switch to all the protein. And it has trace minerals in it as well. But yeah, and then I'm probably gonna paint it too. So think about that when you're doing yours, where you're gonna put it. This is within eye shot of the house, and it stands out pretty good. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and paint this a darker color just so it blends in with the woods a little better. And it's not quite such the eyesore. But pretty simple. You saw I did the whole thing myself. Like I said, I'll tweak the plans a little bit. I'll leave those 1x6s in there. If you don't have tin, you can use those 1x6s as the roof itself. And you can just kind of almost do like a cedar 1x6s and layer them over each other. And you can also do like an A-frame kind of deal there too if you want. 1,000 different ways to do this. Not the easiest way to do it. Like I said, I know there are other easier plans out there. But if you're looking for a permanent solution that's not going anywhere anytime soon, I think this is gonna be it. So yeah, so like I said, a few hours, maybe 4 hours altogether with cutting the wood. And I think we came in right about $180, maybe just under $200. I'll put it in here. I'll flash it up because I can't remember. I don't have the receipt right now, but not super expensive. And then of course, if you get shorter 4x4s, it'll be even less expensive. So that's it. So thanks for coming. Thanks for checking us out. Of course, if you like what we're doing, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell icon over there. Look up this way. We're going to post another video. Maybe something related to this, maybe something related to the cabin. I let YouTube pick it, so who knows. So in the meantime, thanks for coming. Be safe, and God bless.